So I want to talk to you about different types of lubrications, what to look for when you're buying a lubrication, why you need a lubrication, and why you should choose one lubrication over the other. As always, I'm not a doctor, so if you're unsure about something or having issues with your own vaginal moisture, please consult your gynecologist or primary care physician. Lubricants are used and intended as a substitute for natural moisture and are designed to reduce friction during all types of intercourse. If you're not sure if you need a lubrication, if you are a female and you have a vagina, trust me, you need a lubrication. We'll talk about why. And then also, if you're not sure whether or not a lubrication is right for you, try going down a water slide, okay, without water. Okay, or have you ever created any kind of friction and then had some kind of chafing between any parts of your skin? Do you want to do the same thing to your most sensitive tissues on your body? I don't think so. You want a lubrication. So let's talk about what kinds of lubrication and what things to look out for when we're talking about lubrications. This idea of lubrications is not something new. Did you know that lubrications have been used for well over 100 years? Like in 300 BC in ancient Rome and ancient Greece, they would use products like olive oil as well as seaweed or mashed yams as lubrication, as a replacement to that natural moisture. So this isn't a new idea. However, it has developed quite a bit over the years. And because of that, we've learned a lot about the genitalia tissue and what products best are suited to those. And there are some phenomenal lubrications on the market. I'm going to show you a few that I think are really great options. There are a few general rules to think about when you're deciding on which lubrication to get. If you're planning on using your lubrication for vaginal intercourse, you want to make sure that the pH balance of that lubrication is suited to vaginal pH levels, which are typically 3.5 to 4.9. Most lubrications on the market are suited to that pH balance. pH level. However, you want to check and make sure that the one that you're choosing is. If you're planning on using a lubrication for anal intercourse, you want to think about that pH level, which is significantly different from that of the vaginal pH level. And so you don't want to use the same lubrication for vaginal play as you would anal play. And we'll talk about options for both. Also, if you're looking for a lubrication for vaginal intercourse, you want to think about osmolality. Osmolality is basically the way that a substance is concentrated, and more concentrated substance can pull on other concentrated substance. It's like one of those science lessons we learned back in the day we haven't thought about and would never consider when we're thinking about our lubrications, but we should be, because if you're using a lubrication which has an osmolality that is higher than that of the vaginal osmolality, it can actually do the opposite of what you want it to do. So it can pull the moisture from the vaginal tissues, causing you to feel more dry instead of feeling lubricated. So you definitely want to check out the pH balance and the osmolality of the lubrication that you're choosing. If you've been in any kind of store recently that sells sexual health or wellness products, condoms, feminine hygiene products, you've probably seen the aisle of lubrications, and that aisle can be intimidating. There are so many different types of lubrications, and before I became a women's wellness consultant, I had no idea that there were so many different types of lubrications, how to use them, when to use them, what scenarios which was best for, and I had no idea which one I should choose for whatever I was looking for at the time. So I know that aisle can be intimidating, which is why I'm going to give you a few of my suggestions, but also want you to have the information to use to go and look and decide for yourself which lubrications will work best for you and your partner or solo play, right? There are 3 types of lubrications that we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about water-based lubrication as well as silicone-based lubrication, and then we're going to talk about cream lubrications or flavored lubrications. I think these are the 3 most common types of lubrications that are used. They're not the only types of lubrications that there are, but I think they're the type that you're going to find the most often and the type that you probably need to know the most about. So we're going to talk about all 3. I want you to feel educated when you're going to decide on your lubrication. I want you to be able to look at that intimidating wall of lubrications and know how to pick which one is best for you. The best way to do that is probably to tell you what things to avoid in the lubrications. When you're looking at the ingredients, there's a few things you can mark off the list that you know you don't want in lubrication but are sometimes found in store-bought lubrications. The first one is going to be parabens. Parabens are put into products to help them last longer and have a longer shelf life. However, parabens are not healthy for our genital tissues. They've actually been linked to endocrine issues as well as fertility issues, so it's not something that you want to be using and putting into your body. The other ingredient that I want you to think about is nonoxynol 9, which is a spermicide, which sounds great when you're talking about lubrications and preventative measures. However, spermicides are designed to kill all living bacteria, so they can also kill the healthy bacteria that is in the vagina, which could lead to infections, right? Another product that you want to look for is chlorhexidine. It's an antibacterial ingredient, and again, you don't want to kill the healthy bacteria that are living in the vagina. So those three are probably the major ones that I would suggest looking for when you're trying to decide on which lubrication to get for yourself. But also, if you go and observe what lubrications you have used in the past, or lubrications that are in your drawer or your dresser or wherever it is that you store your lubrications, you probably will find some things in there that you don't want to be using. One, that include those ingredients or are some kind of substitute that you have at some point used, such as petroleum jelly, Vaseline, lotions, baby oil. While those things all sound great, they are not compatible with vaginal pH or great substitutes for lubrication. The last one I want to mention is human saliva. We've probably all been there and done it. However, human saliva is not a great alternative for lubrication for a couple of reasons, dealing with bacteria involved in the mouth, going into the vaginal canal, but also they're not going to last. They're not going to be sustainable lubrications that you don't have to keep reapplying throughout intercourse. So they're not the best options for lubrications in general. I actually posed the question to my gynecologist one time: if you could give any piece of advice to any woman with regards to her sexual health, what would you say? And her response to me was, you need an everyday pH balanced water-based lubrication. This lubrication in this beautiful gold bottle is a great option for an everyday water-based lubrication for a couple of reasons. Why do you need an everyday water-based lubrication? Because that area of your body needs to be moisturized consistently. If you're someone watching this and you're like, girl, mine is, I do not need that, that's okay. I understand. I'm hearing you. However, I will tell you that if you are super moisturized vaginally all the time, you probably find that other parts of your body are dry. The reason for that is we are reproductive animals. Our body shunts blood and fluid to our brain to protect it, our heart to protect it, and then our reproductive system to protect it. So if you are one of the ladies watching this who thinks, girl, I'm a geyser girl, I'm wet all the time, while you're watching this, rub your elbow and tell me if it is moisturized. It's probably not. Or you're someone who has to consistently reapply lotions, or you find that you have drier hair, drier face, drier feet. Somewhere on your body is dry, and it's probably because the moisture that needs that to be going to those areas is actually being shunted to your vaginal tissue. So another reason that you could be dry vaginally would be allergy medication. So they don't just dry up here, they dry up everywhere, right? Your age can affect your vaginal moisture, as well as hormones and different vaginal issues. Again, talk with your healthcare provider if you're having those issues, but an easy solution probably for those issues would be an everyday pH balance lubrication, and that's probably what they will tell you as well. This option is great because if you went to the store and you picked one of those water-based lubrications off the shelf and you used it, you'd be walking around all day like, it's probably not the most comfortable. This lubrication is super fun because it has a really unique re-wetting technology. And so when you put this lubrication on your finger, you rub it inside the vaginal canal, it actually absorbs into that tissue. And then when you need that moisture, it actually re-wets itself. What? Get out of here. That is why I am obsessed with this lubrication. Having an everyday pH balanced lubrication is going to lead to a healthy, happy vagina, which leads to healthy, happy hormones. It actually also can affect your mood and your relationship in that your body feels better. It can affect things like pain during intercourse or otherwise. There are so many different reasons why you should be using an everyday lubrication, and this is a really great option for that. The next lubrication we're going to talk about is a silicone lubrication. When and why would you be using this lubrication? This lubrication is great for use during vaginal intercourse, especially if you're going to have like a marathon session, because silicone is such a larger molecule that your body cannot actually absorb it. So it doesn't absorb as much of the lubrication. It stays there. It lasts longer. Water and other substances are not going to wash this lubrication away. It's still going to exist and be present. So it's a really great option for those long-term sessions, if you know what I mean. It's also a really great option for anal play because it's not going anywhere. It's also a really fun option for any kind of water play, or if you're mixing any other liquids in while you're playing, because again, it's not going to wash it away or make it go anywhere. It's a super cool option, and this lubrication in particular, the Pure Pleasure, is phenomenal option for a silicone lubrication because it is safe, pH neutral, great product for you to use. The third type of lubrication that I said I was going to talk to you guys about is a cream lubrication. This one in particular is called a whipped cream lubrication. It is the vanilla cupcake flavored, but it comes in several different flavors, which is really fun. When I said cream lubrication, I mean any lubrication that is flavored and is outside of a water-based silicone gel or hybrid lubrication. Those lubrications are typically thicker in consistency. Why do you want a lubrication that's thicker in consistency? Anything you're putting into your vagina is probably more porous than the vagina, and the lubrication that you're using is likely being sucked up like a straw by that porous object. The penis is extremely porous, so when it's inserted into the vagina, it sucks up the moisture. If you've ever been having sex with your partner and midway felt like completely dry and things got uncomfortable, the reason for that is your partner's probably acting as a straw and sucking up that moisture. You're not broke, girl. It's okay. You're not broke, okay? And he's not doing anything wrong, which is probably what he's thinking. Applying a simple cream lubrication can result in that not being an issue. Same thing goes with your toys. This is also a really great lubrication for oral play and anal play for the same reasons. This lubrication isn't going anywhere and it tastes great, right? Why do we want a lubrication that tastes great? I think we know, for obvious reasons, right? This is a great option for a cream lubrication if you're looking for one. But in general, check this lubrication for items like sugar and wheat. Sometimes those products apply those ingredients to these types of lubrications to make them taste great, and they're not healthy for you. This one in particular is. Thank you so much for tuning into this Let's Talk Tuesday. I hope you found this information to be helpful and informative. I can't wait to do it again next Tuesday. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss it, and please like this video to help me out. If you have any questions or comments or concerns, please don't hesitate to drop them in the comments or shoot me a message. I appreciate you guys so much for watching our Let's Talk Tuesdays, and I'll see you next Tuesday.